what is important in life, and what I regret as I get older. Life is a journey full of decisions we make every day. When we are young, we feel like we have our whole life ahead of us, and we can put important things off for later. We often make the mistake of thinking that time will always be with us, and that we will have the opportunity to make up for everything. But is that really the case? Here's what's important to realize. Many of us, because of our youth and inexperience, waste precious time making mistakes that we later realize. These mistakes become a heavy burden when we realize what is really important. I have lived 35 years, and now looking back, I realize that most of these mistakes could have been avoided if I had realized how important it is to live life consciously. Family is not something to put off for later. When I was younger, I thought I would always have time to take care of my family. I thought I could focus on my career, and then I'd be busy raising my kids, socializing, and everything would be fine. But here's what I realized. Family is not something you can put off until later. As kids grow up, their time with you ends much faster than you can imagine. Careers, successes, money, all of it is meaningless if you don't make time for your loved ones. I regret not realizing how important this moment is when I was younger. It is good that my children are not quite grown up yet, and I can still spend precious time with them. Postponed happiness is a false goal. How often we put happiness on hold? When I buy a new house, when I get a promotion, when the kids are grown. And so we spend years searching for happiness in the future. But in reality, happiness is not in the future. It is always here, in the moment. I regret to say that I have wasted a lot of time chasing after something I thought would bring happiness. Happiness has always been about the simple things, the joy of what is now, not what will be later. I realize that you shouldn't put it off if you even want to get a dog. After all, it's great to be surrounded by things you like and are happy about. Deferred dreams and goals. We put dreams on hold, believing that we will have time for everything. We wait for the perfect moment to start doing what we love, painting, writing, traveling. But we don't start until we are mature enough or have saved the right amount of money. That moment often doesn't come. I've seen many people, even older than me, never start doing what they dreamed of doing and regret it. If I had known then how important it is to start right now instead of putting it off, I would have made a lot of progress. Look at your parents. Did they pursue their favorite thing or did they put it off? Work and career, you don't want to give your health away. We all know what it's like to work to exhaustion, do everything possible to succeed, and in doing so, forget about our own health. An important lesson that came with experience. Work can take over your life if you don't learn to set boundaries. Work is not worth losing your health. When we are young, we think that this energy won't run out, that we will always be able to work as much as we need to. But I realized health is something you can't get back. And if you lose it for the sake of work, it may not be regainable later on. Nervous system. I remember how one incident at work led me to a nervous breakdown, and it was really serious. I let the entire department down when I made a mistake that impacted the entire project. It wasn't just an oversight. I felt like I couldn't continue working, that everything was crashing down on me. Colleagues were annoyed, and no one even asked how I was feeling. All around me was resentment and pressure, and not a drop of support. It took me a long time to recover, because the emotional breakdown caused health problems. One by one, my organs began to fail. It was a brutal lesson that taught me to value myself, my health, and to realize that you shouldn't let work take all your energy. How we fail to value ourselves and our needs. We are taught to be hardworking, diligent, and to put other people's needs before our own. But ultimately, all of this leads to us forgetting about ourselves. I don't deserve this. I'll spend the money on something important instead of on myself. Such thoughts often haunt us. We forget to please ourselves, not realizing that life is short. Many times I put off some small joys for myself, thinking that I had to wait for a holiday to do it. Now I realize that life is a holiday and we should enjoy every moment. Sports. Sports are important in both youth and adulthood. Many people do not realize how important physical activity is for our body and spend their days sitting behind the wheel, at the computer, or in front of the TV. There is usually no time for sports. I myself didn't start going to the gym until I was 33, at first thinking it wasn't for me. And now, looking back, I really regret it. If I had started exercising earlier, I would have felt much better and more energetic. I'm 35 now, and I feel better than I did when I was 25. Sports training has not only improved my fitness, but it has also greatly increased my energy level and confidence. When you start exercising, it's obvious that it's not just for improving your appearance, but for the full, healthy functioning of your entire body. Every day you feel your strength and flexibility being restored, and your body becoming stronger and more resilient. How junk food is killing us. There's always been a cult of food in my family. We had pies with huge amounts of sugar, we ate chips, pizza, candy by the kilos, sausage and sausages. I'm not even talking about the hamburgers and fries that were an integral part of my entire family. But when I got a bunch of diseases at the age of 30, I suddenly realized that my diet would drive me to the grave very soon. I had to rethink my diet. And now I only eat homemade food with lots of vegetables. Stopped using sugar and products that contain it. I lost 28 kilos of excess weight, became active and healthy, and I wish you the same. If you have any questions about my diet, ask in the comments. I will be happy to answer them all. Friendship, not quantity, but quality. When we are young, it seems to us that the more friends we have, the better. But when you get older, you realize that it's not the quantity of people around, but their quality. That's what's important. I realize that real friendship is not about how many people are around, but about those who are really ready to support in a difficult moment. When I was young, I didn't always value friendship, favoring more people over true friends. Now I realize that real wealth is a few people you can always rely on. Here's what I'm saying. Don't spend years trying to figure it all out. Start right now. Every moment is a chance for change. Loving yourself, paying attention to your loved ones, being joyful in the moment. You can start practicing all of these things right now, and it will do far more good than chasing the non-existent. Too often we put our lives on hold. We think that happiness awaits us in the future, but in fact it is already here. Start living consciously, enjoy life, do what is important to you, and pay attention to those around you. I realize that our environment is one of the most important things in life. Those around us shape our mindset, our actions, and even our thoughts. If you are surrounded by people who support, inspire, and believe in you, you will strive to do better, develop, and grow. But if you're constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, and toxic relationships, it can severely stall your progress. My advice is to surround yourself with people who energize you and help you move forward, not those who are constantly dragging you down. Be mindful of who you spend time with. It directly affects your well-being in life. How old are you and what are you ready to change in your life right now?